Well, happy Monday, everybody. It is the 26th of August, 2019. This is Journal 150, T+145, 145 days post-transplant. And I'm feeling pretty well, which is to be expected because I just had an incredible few days, literally a birthday weekend celebration that began on Friday afternoon and continued all the way through until yesterday or last evening. And it left me thinking a lot about everything that's brought me to this moment, everything that's brought me here, doing this blog, contemplating the transplant, all those things that for the last probably 73 years of my life, things that worked out magnificently, things that I planned that worked out well, things that I planned that didn't work out so well or didn't work out at all, things that were truly serendipitous in nature and couldn't be planned. And in order to do that, I think most people have to, go back and look at their diaries or their journals or think hard back about their lives, open up shoeboxes filled with pictures or go through albums. I realized at some point that the story of my life, really, certainly the last almost half of my life, has occurred on the pages of a half a dozen different magazines I've written for over the years. And that's pretty miraculous when you think about it. The opportunity to share. And I don't know whether I've told you this story before, but it's probably one of my favorite magazine stories, one of my favorite writing stories. And it occurred a long time ago. It occurred very soon after I first started writing, within the first 5 years, certainly. And I wrote for what was then the industry-leading publication, had the greatest subscription base, and was extremely well-read. And I was very fortunate in having chosen that publishing company to wind up writing not only for the automotive repair community magazine they had, but also for the warehouse distribution and manufacturing magazine they had, and for the service station industry magazine when the service station industry was an industry. Quite unlike it is today when a lot of automotive service, maintenance, and repair occurred in local neighborhood service stations. And we were up in Northern California. It was a trade show for the Automotive Service Council of California. It was then, may have been still called IGO, Independent Garage Owners. I don't remember, but it was a trade show, and I think it was for Automotive Service Council. And I was walking through the trade show floor, having just finished speaking, and a great big mountain of a human being wearing a cut-down jean jacket, a bandana, long hair, beard down to his chest, walked up to me and put his arms around me, locked me in his grip, and pulled me close to him. And in a really gruff voice, he said, "You know something, Schneider?" And I said, "No, no, I don't," because I had no idea what he was about to do, what he was about to tell me. He said, "We know more about you than your closest friends do." And I had to think about that for a second. And I smiled and I started to laugh. And I sort of pulled away and went over and shook his hand and said, I think you may be right. And the reason for that was that almost from the beginning of my writing, I realized that writing technical information, writing to shop owners or technicians or mechanics about fixing cars, while it was something that I could do, wasn't something that I uh, really yearned to do. That what I really was interested in doing was writing feature stuff, writing human interest, writing from the perspective of human interest, and writing to garage owners about what life in the trenches was all about and what my experience was, and in some instances, having been fortunate enough to share the experience of others, um, writing about those particular elements of working in the shop. And a lot of the problems that we face as independent businessmen and as small business owners and as mechanics and technicians in the culture. And we're going back into the mid 1980s, and the sad thing about everything that I did then, and that I still do to this day, because I'm still writing for the trade publication, is nothing's changed. All of the majority of the problems have stayed the same, and many of them have gotten worse, actually. Same problems with stereotypes, same problems with stigma, same problems with poor compensation. You can go down the list of the first speech I wrote, which was the vehicle that took me into the publishing industry, and nothing's changed. But what this gentleman was telling me was that he knew more about me than some of my closest friends, because I shared elements of my life in the magazine from the very beginning, from the first articles that I ever wrote, that I rarely, if ever, talked about with any of my closest friends, for a number of different reasons, not the least of which was I wasn't sure that anybody else would be interested outside the industry. But what I did share in the industry, what I did share through the pages of the magazine, was always, very personal and very honest, very transparent, and created a real window into my soul, as it were, and which is something I still do to this day, and I guess I'm doing it here too. I mean, it's I don't think that you can explain it to somebody else. It's more or less a calling. It's something that you can't not do. It's like writers write because they have to write. It's not necessarily because they want to write. They write because that's the way they have found to express themselves and release pressure and eliminate the angst and the anxiety that tends to fill your life if you can't make a point of sharing that with others, hopefully, so they won't stumble where you stumbled, so they won't trip and fall where you've fallen, so that they'll be able to survive, some of the incredibly foolish mistakes that you've made in your life. And the blessing is that in most cases, especially with the writing that I've done for the publishing companies I've worked for in the repair community, the stuff is pretty relatable. And most automotive repair shop owners and technicians understood that almost immediately. And from the comments I've gotten through the blog, many of you understand as well that there is far more that we share as human beings on this planet that we should be talking about and we should be exploring than those things that separate us and keep us apart. And I think that looking back the way I have over this weekend, and thinking about my birthday, thinking about the birthday celebration, the one thought that I would like to leave you with is really simple. Is that Why do we spend so much time celebrating our existence just one day a year? Why do we spend so much effort and energy thinking about how fortunate we are to be here on this planet just one day a year on the occasion of our birthday? Why can't we why can't we embrace the whole concept of just being here? We can have a special celebration on our birthday to commemorate the fact that that's when we got here. But the real celebration is what have we accomplished in the interim? They used to say that the big deal was not your the year of your birth and the year of your death. What was really important was that dash in between and how you filled that dash with memories and with effort and with energy and with accomplishment. So I think we should celebrate being here, being born 364 days a year, and commemorate the day that we got here on the other day. So it's something to think about. And I don't mean you should get a birthday card or a cake every day, although that wouldn't be bad, if you could find a way to work it off and get rid of the calories. But I think it would be nice to recognize that every day that you have is worth celebration, is worthy of consideration, and certainly worthy of your best effort to make it a wonderful day, a great day. So on that happy note, I will leave you with the same instructions I give you every day, and that's stay well and take care. Look forward to seeing you here again tomorrow. Bye-bye.